Hello and welcome to Character Illustration for Film and Games with me, Bjorn Hurri. I'm a lead artist at an outsourcing studio called Opus Arts, which focuses mainly on 2D art for the entertainment industry. We focus mostly on doing production art for games and movies, and most of our bread and butter is character art. Here you can see some of the clients I've been working on over the past few years and some of the titles which I've helped produce. I've had a lot of fun doing all these projects and one of the games, which is my own game, The Other Brothers, I also do my own art direction, which is great fun. Um, now I'll show you some of the work I've been doing over uh, for a period. And these are mostly personal pieces of art, and and later on I'll probably be showing some more production from companies. But as you can see, I love doing characters, and hopefully I will be able to show you guys some interesting tricks and at least how I do it. Um, I've always enjoyed drawing and painting. I think that's always been one of my passions, and I really love thinking about new worlds or new characters, and I think that is something I'm striving to teach on a daily basis to the studio over at Opus Arts. It's one of our main focuses for developing our internal artists is to push the imagination and the ability to create something new. Um, One of the things I enjoy doing is also experiment with techniques, and hopefully um, I will be able to show you some of them. There's many different ones, but I think the ones I will be teaching in this class is very useful for production art and to create unhindered new things. Yeah, I I have had been doing it for many years now, and I have great success in using it with clients, and it allows for flexibility. At the end of this term, you should be able to design unique characters in a way which is at an industry standard. A lot of it means that you'll just understand the process of working with a client and how to reach a goal that both you as an artist is happy with and also the client is happy. Usually, what they like is the ability to give you feedback, and I think this process allows both to give and take in that creative process. Uh, it will require you to dedicate some time and attention to what you're doing, but it will pay off in the long run because what you're doing is practicing and training your imagination and flexibility in creating new designs. Uh, you you'll learn great ways to exercise your imagination, as I mentioned, and make sure that you'll deliver to the future client in a that what you deliver will be strong and unique. If you're starting out in the industry, this will be a great piece to show in your portfolio that the whole process. Again, to show you that you understand the pipeline and that you can design more than one character, and that they can see the thoughts behind the end result, because that is just as important as the final image. Because if you can only do one thing and they don't have the ability to direct it, it will be a one-sided collaboration. And in my experience, that is usually not something that they enjoy. Uh, So you'll be doing mood boards and thumbnails to create like a general direction for where to go, uh, and and what to create. And also we'll be then doing some line art stuff to further explore all the ideas and the results of the thumbnails. This will be also quite loose and free, but it's a really fun thing to do. I think. Hopefully, you'll enjoy it as well. Um, we will then be doing. In the end, we'll be doing some painting and paint the character so that it's presented in a readable, uh, strong way, so that you could almost hand it over to a 3D guy who will understand it completely, even not in an ortho. Uh, and then, of course, in the end, we will be doing an orthographic view and also some face and head explorations to further solidify the character that we've we've created. Um, Overall, I think it's just a really nice and relaxing technique, which goes rather fast. If the more you do it, the faster you can go, and the stronger results you'll get. What the good thing is that if you have a problem choosing thumbnails or the end result because there's many great entries, you're in a good position. Okay, so for this week we will be creating a mood board consisting of lots of different references, and it will be a great collection of interesting references that we will use to drive our imagination while we're creating thumbnails. The mood board should have multiple directions to ensure we have a wide range of different designs while we're painting. What's important is to have a clear separation of different references. At the start, um, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out, or you shouldn't spend too much time trying to figure out what. All you need to do is focus on finding cool things within the direction you've chosen to take to design for. Um, and just make sure that you have some cool looking photos from internet. Um, it will be a big part of the success of the first week. Secondly, we will be doing around 20 to 30 thumbnails um, with a strong read. Read is something I call on which what you read is something I call how you read a character, and that is taking the understanding of the shapes and values that you've used. So a great way to separate them is by ensuring the readability. We will be focused on big, medium, and small shapes and dark, medium, light value separation in our designs to make sure that we get uh, great designs and how they read. Um, and it also matters of what you've collected as a reference and where you want to take your own imagination. So at this, I like to reference a pyramid, and at the moment we were doing the base of the pyramid, which is each thumbnail at this point should be different from each other. So just create different kind of ideas, different designs, play, because at this point we can have so much more fun for almost no cost when it comes to time and effort. And the idea is to just make it really fun creating things and not thinking about the outcome at this point. Okay, so here is the mood board I've created. I spent maybe 4 hours googling around, finding something I liked, and then kind of try to trace the route, or try to find similar images or similar things to Google to find just interesting images. And I think the great thing about creating a mood board as a first thing you do for a client is that you can, before you start doing any work, you can send this off to the client and tell them, like, this is the general idea I had. If you do not like any of these, you can uh, uh, remove them or kind of X them and send it back, and I will exclude them from the kind of creative process. And a lot of these images, I don't know like the exact website from them, because I found a lot of these images on someone else's website, and I couldn't trace back to the original one. But obviously, there's some Game of Thrones ones and Underworld and uh, some fashion stuff and Lord of the Rings. And, um, well, so the general idea is what you should do is first find lots of cool images. You don't really need to care about what they are, as long as they kind of fit your general idea of what you want to create. Um, and then when you've collected everything, you start placing them on a big canvas. And what you should do is try to group them in 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 um, in sections. Uh, so here you can clearly see um, that there are specific groupations of references. So here you can see more of a kind of ogre type references. Up here is more leather hunter-esque, and up here is more like a Dark Knight, and here's crazy fashion stuff. Uh, and in between them, I've been trying to place references that kind of keys into each other. Uh, and I think by doing so, when you're looking at your references and creating your thumbnails, uh, what you should be doing is you zoom in, so you only see a part of the mood board, and you create, while you're painting, you're looking only at a section of your mood board, so that you're creating more exact source, or you're having a more exact source of information for when you're painting, and not looking a little bit everywhere and kind of cross contaminating uh, your design in that way. It helps in the creative process. Um, so you can just move it around per thumbnail, uh, and kind of get inspired by different things, uh, and just kind of key off of what you're seeing on the screen, and kind of get inspired by that. And also, yeah. So let's begin. Okay, so the main thing to think about at this point is to draw big shapes to start with, which is the main shapes, and then medium shapes and small shapes. The medium shapes are more or less the details, and the small shapes are the little kind of tweaks and lines and information that makes the design come across more clear. And the most important thing when you do with shapes is to have a different kind of composition of shapes, so that you don't have too many big shapes, or and have no small shapes, or you need a good balance of like the difference of shapes. It's a general composition rules. Like if you have a canvas full of only big shapes, you don't have any contrast of shapes. So all you're seeing is equal sized noise. By differentiating the sizes of the shapes, you can create a rhythm. You can create a personality or a character purely based on the distribution of shapes. So that is the one thing which is really important, which you need to focus on is to have that balance of which part is big, which part is small, and you can also vary that across the thumbnail so that it can almost be like a visual language, a tool for visual language where you know that you're not treading into another direction because this direction uses few large shapes and more medium shapes, or another direction could be uh, more large shapes, few medium shapes, and lots of small shapes. So you can create different feel to it. And then also, what is also important is for readability. A good thing for me is to separate it in three values. So you have a light, medium, and a dark, and that the same rule applies to that. So that when you do your designs, um, you distribute those values across the character differently, and you try to play with those when you do your designs. I found that doing that um, doesn't only allow you to design better, but also it allows you to design faster. Um, so make sure, for example, that while you're doing these thumbnails, you're looking at your mood board at different selections of references so that you can easily just kind of lean back, let your imagination flow a bit while you're actively trying to balance your thumbnail and kind of create shapes that are interesting to look at, interesting to read, um, and has some sort of personality to it. Uh, I'm not doing too crazy poses at the moment because I reckon the poses are not too important at this stage. At this stage, all you need to do is just kind of create different designs, thumbnails. You'll see me doing somewhat different poses, but they're not very extreme. They're quite natural or realistic in that sense that they're not in motion or doing some crazy pose. Um, so yeah, so currently now I'm just thinking of doing playing around with the idea of a vertical design more than the previous one had a vertical lines but also smaller lines in the middle. So now I'm just kind of playing around, just playing with shapes and general sizes and of different volumes and information. I think one of the great things by forcing you to only three values is that you're not thinking about light uh, too much at this stage. So it's so easy to not to do it now. Is to just think like, is this a coat? Is it a shirt? Is it metal? What is the style? What is the shapes? What's the material? And only on like quite superficial uh, amount. So you're not thinking about like, oh, how shiny is this metal or how dull is this leather, because you can lean on that later in your mood board and later on in the class. But at this stage now, it's just you know, play around, have some fun, try different things. Yeah, I've with many clients doing these kind of thumbnails in this fashion is really helpful. You can We usually aim to do a set of 20, 30 in half a day, so that's for during 4 hours, and that is making it easy. I mean, this first week is more or less 2.5 hour or less of me painting in real time, and it doesn't take too much time to do these. I mean, you can easily knock one out in 5 minutes, and or less even, as I've already done two for 7 minutes. So that it's well under 5 minutes per thumbnail. I'm of course not expecting you guys to do the same, but the fact that they are more very fast, and you can just kind of focus on playing around. You can also easily start and stop at any point. So let's say you have a half an hour until you need to, go to the gym or go shop for some food or whatever. Just squeeze a couple of thumbnails in, and while you're doing something else, think about some cool characters, and then when you get some more time, you can just throw some other 30 minutes in there during the week, and just create, because you already have the mood board to kind of help you guide your imagination of what you're creating. And secondly, it goes rather fast again, so uh, just enjoy it. And it doesn't matter really how good they are at a technical level, like is the anatomy completely correct, or is this pose correct. As long as they kind of read accurately, that's good enough, because you're going to be redrawing these at a later point anyways. If you approve it, if you pick one of these designs to take further, you're not going to draw exactly that just refined. You're going to redraw it in a pose that you might think is more accurate to the character's behavior. So as I said before, just don't worry at this point. Just have fun. Yeah, so as you can see now, I went back and started kind of changing the shapes a bit and playing around. Um, Mostly, I wasn't enjoying it that much of where it was, but also the proportions kind of felt off. So I just went back and changed it a little bit so that the character kind of personality isn't removed from it due to a small proportional issue. Just small balancing. You'll probably see this now and then, me going back and changing, but I don't think that should matter. If you want to go back and change something, do that, but don't spend too much time uh, on one. You want it to be raw and kind of emotional in a way that you're not overthinking it. You just kind of create, which is the important part, because you're going to be do lots of thinking later. So now just just have fun. Now I'm going back, adding a smaller detail, just to kind of trying to balance the information and see how the characters look and feel. Like, where can I add some information that enhances the design that's already there? As you can see, these three have different distribution of big, medium, and small shapes, and also in values. I think that's showcases the idea of how one can distribute the information when you're designing. But I'll be doing lots more, so hopefully that will be even more evident in how one should proceed in doing these thumbnails. Many times I've just stumbled across good designs by accident, by just painting something in the process of creating and not really worrying about what I'm doing, and then all of a suddenly these this new shape has become one of my favorite things to design, or kind of place in a character, just by pure accident, by just sitting and creating, having fun and not thinking about what I'm actually doing, and just I think it's a lot of people do the same mistake. You can see it in uh, a lot of people's work on the internet, is how they place the information in a big picture. Like, how does the character read? And personally, I spot a really good designer by in the first few seconds, because that is all it takes. You just know it's a great drawing or a great design, great design, because of how this artist have applied the theory of what I'm teaching. That sounds quite that sounds quite stupid thing to say, but personally, of course, it's my taste, and that is